So I'm back for another video today. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot this morning because luckily for me I'm on a week's holidays next week from work, so that'll just allow me to do the extra few bits and pieces around the farm. Usually I would try and get those in on my days off, but I have the week next week now, so I can take it handy. So all I'm going to do today is I'll feed them. Obviously I'll clean out from the calf who's in the back there because she's not on slats, and I'm just going to sweep up and tidy up the floor here a bit while I can. Usually when I come down they have a small bit of silage left in front of them, but today they've pretty much nothing, so all I've done is shoved what was left down to the cows and they're going to tidy that up for me. They'll eat whatever's there, and whatever they don't eat then I'll just take out. So it just gives me an opportunity to clean up the place. It's just handy to do it when there's no silage in the place. So after that then I'll feed all the cattle, give the ones here the nuts, and bring in a couple of bales, and hopefully that'll be it for the day then. My dad will keep an eye on them this afternoon. He might give me the afternoon off, but they should be grand anyway. I have the calving camera here, so it's handy. You can keep an eye on them at all times. But look, once they're all healthy, thankfully at the moment, so as long as they're fed, they should be happy out. They've all settled in since my last video, so the 2 extra cows came up, but yeah, they seem to be getting on okay. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of fighting or messing. So the black one here, and then the second Simmental there, they seem to be happy enough. They've been eating mad, you know. Look, they came in for a reason, so I think they're happy out where they are. Little bit of bullying in this pen, of course. The cow is ruling the roost. So, do you know what? I'm looking at that there now, and I think I'll raise that bar as well while I'm at it today, because it's getting a bit low for them. They're all getting impatient now because they're wondering where the hell is their silage. So I'm going to get on with it, and what I'll do today is, in my last video I gave an update kind of on how I got into farming. So today I'll just give a bit of an update on where I am at the moment on the farm. While I was tidying up there, my dad came down and we were just talking about the weather next week and how it's supposed to get so cold. So what I said I'll do is I'll bring in the tank for the water now, just so I don't get caught out like the last time. The cold air before Christmas, yeah, the hardship in the pitch dark, trying to break the water in the troughs outside so I could bring it in here to them, and then the pipes froze, and yeah, it was just a pain. So I'm just going to get ahead of it. Even though I'm off next week, I'll bring it in now and I'll fill it up, and it'll be here, and you know, we can use it. And look, if I don't use it, I'll use it for the calf around the back anyway, with giving her the buckets of water and stuff. So it's no big deal. I'd rather have it now than to be trying to do it during the week when it's absolutely freezing out there. So I'll do that before I bring in the bales, because I'll be a little bit tight on space. So I've tried a few different ways of opening the bales when I'm bringing in. Usually I'd flip it at the door and then take the top wrap off, but I just had an idea when I saw these on the ground that I might just take the wrap off the top of them before I do anything, because obviously it makes sense. So I'm hoping this will just save me a little bit of time. There's no need to flip it or else having to try and lift it high enough with the forks in order for me to get under it to cut off the wrap. So I think this is probably the best way while it's standing upright there, and should save the bit of time today. Bales in. Anybody who has followed me on TikTok will know my struggles with bales of silage. Now, in fairness, this year the vast majority of them have been great. I had a bad run of it there for a week, where every bale I brought in, now I was bringing in a mix of old and new bales, but Jesus, every one I brought in was just a disaster. So we'll see now what these ones look like, but they felt a little bit heavy, which always worries me, but there is an incline there, a slight incline where they're stacked, so maybe it was just that they were kind of down at the back a little bit. So we'll see how they are now. But the last two I brought in, you saw there the waste I took out, that was it. That's all that came out. So I'm hoping for the same now this time. So I said I'd better feed them before I started yapping again, because they were getting a little bit antsy. So as I thought, the bales are quite wet, so that's why they were a bit heavier. In fairness, they're not too bad. They don't look great, but they're fine. You know, there isn't, there's not much bad on that one. This one, there was a little bit, but like when I say a little bit, I mean there was just a bit of mould on the outside. Like I just took off that. I know people say throw it to them and they'll eat around it, but I don't like giving them the mould, so I'll always pull it off the outside. But yeah, it's a frustration because I don't know what it is, you know. Maybe this year I'll try and get the fertiliser out a bit earlier, because I think it was about 7 weeks before it was cut, and I know it's supposed to be, from my research, that it's supposed to be a minimum of 6 weeks. So look, maybe I just need to give it the extra few weeks this year. I'm also leaning towards the plastic. I know a few people have sent me pictures of their bales on Instagram with the fungus growing on the outside of the bales. I have that on a couple now. Some people are riddled with it, but mine, I just have a few on a couple of them. So I don't know, is it from the heat that we had in the summer? It was very hot there some days. Did it damage the plastic a bit? Now, in saying that, I didn't see anything on either of those. I didn't see a hole in them. They were both top bales as well. Sometimes I'd be thinking maybe the bottom ones, you know, might get punctured or whatever when they're going in, but these were on top. So I don't know. Look, they're grand. Like, they'll eat all of that, and look, there doesn't seem to be any fear of them. They're putting on the condition anyway. So, but it's just annoying. Like, I felt that in my forearms there now, hiking it. It's a massive difference, although look, it's a good workout, I suppose. But no, next year now, I'm definitely going to go for the film inside rather than the netting, and see if that helps. And I think try and get the fertiliser out that bit earlier as well, and see if that helps, because yeah, last year was a bit of a disaster. The year before, I think, was a complete disaster. Last year was a bit better. This year is definitely better. But I'm convinced it's something we're doing. You know, I don't think it's the contractor. So I think if we try those now, come summer, spring and summer, and we'll see where we are, it'll hopefully make a difference. But look, as I said, they're all happy out, they're all eating it away, they don't turn their noses up to it, so that's a good thing. I get a lot of questions about, you know, would you ever expand and upgrade and whatnot, and the answer is always no. You know, right now I'm happy with what I have, especially with the full-time job, you know, and it's not a 9-to-5 job either, so it, you know, it can be difficult to manage the two. So right now, no, I'm happy enough with what I have. And look, we're doing bits and pieces all the time, and you know, obviously I think, especially in, you know, my videos and photos on social media, you probably see the 135, you know, struggling with the bales and me piking the silage, and there's no front loader and there's no big tractor and whatnot. Which, look, is fair enough, and I'm not going to get into the tractor because that's probably a video all in itself, the reasons why I'm sticking with the 135 for now. So I will do another video on that. But for me, you don't see, I suppose, the upgrades that we've done in the past few years. And look, even before I started, you know, helping out, you know, my dad got the gator, obviously, for himself so that he's able to get around the farm. So that is absolutely crucial that he has that. You know, we've upgraded gates, upgraded fencing, we've put a path in. It's very sunny out now, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but so this is obviously the shed. This is where the cattle come every winter. If there's dosing, if there's testing, AI, everything, they all come down here. So before, this here and the other side was just one big field, and we didn't have this path or roadway, whatever it is, passageway, I suppose, in here. So a lot of our land is up across the main road there, so we were having to bring them all the way down the main road and down a smaller local road then and in here. Other times then, if the cattle were in the field here, we'd have to just try and run them out the gap. Like, honestly, you couldn't believe the hardship. So I mean, doing that was a big job, and we got it all fenced as well, so that was a big job. And then here itself, you can see it's concrete behind me. That was just was it pencil? I can't really remember, actually, to be honest, but it most certainly wasn't a nice smooth surface like this. So again, my dad would struggle to get into the shed. So obviously that was actually the first job, I think, that was done after my dad had the accident. So now he can get in, no bother. Then here was like, I know it looks a bit messy there now, but that's because of the torrential rain, but that was like a quagmire when I first started doing the bales. I mean, the torture. If it took less than 5 minutes for me to get a bale out, it was like success. It was honestly a disaster. I was just getting stuck in there. I couldn't get the bales out. Then there was a lip there, and the tractor couldn't lift the bales because they were heavy and wet, and it was honestly a nightmare. So we got the pencil in there as well to improve that, you know. We put in the calving pen, you know, that wasn't there before. I'd say that was done maybe 5 years ago as well. Before that, it was just makeshift with gates, so it just wasn't safe enough. You know, there's been a few upgrades to the pens as well. We had to get new gates in there, new water trucks in, you know, so we're tipping away all the time, and a lot has been done in the last 5 or 6 years, but you know, we still need to do another bit now. We definitely need to reseed in the next year or two, so I'm hoping to start that now next year. This year we have another big field that we definitely need to get fenced, but that'll have to be done by a contractor. There is no way I could ever do that, so we'll have to get that done this year as well. So look, it's all small improvements that I suppose people don't necessarily see in my videos and things like that. But I think if we can get the basics done, get the fencing right, get the reseeding done, then I'll look at the other bits and pieces. And look, you know, it's all well and good to say that you want to expand. We're maxed out in here now in the shed. Like, there is no more we could fit in here. You could probably fit a few more calves, but you can't fit more cows, so I'm not buying in calves. So where am I going to get the calves if I don't have the cows, you know? And look, we have limited acres, you know, so we can only do so much with what we have. But look, I suppose if we get those bits done, then we can start thinking about, right, how do we make a bit more money out of it? You know? So yeah, as I said, I'll do another video on the 135 because I think it deserves its own video probably. And look, if you enjoyed the video, I'd love a like and a subscribe. And again, if there's any topics that you want me to cover, please let me know, or any questions, leave them in the comments. And if they're too long to reply to, no problem doing a video. Thanks.